want to talk to you a little bit about Jedi mind tricks. Jedi mind... These are not the droids you're looking for. They're not the droids we're looking for. Jedi mind tricks. There's a new book out called The Little Blue Book. The Blaze has the story on it. It's the newest in a long line of progressive handbooks. These guys are organized. These guys are, they're well thought out. You know, we're busy doing our jobs every day. You know, the amazing thing is I don't have any professors helping us. I'm running a business, and we're trying to run this business in a way that we can also help the country. And you're listening to this program for not only news and information, but also entertainment. These guys have the universities that you are paying tax dollars to. And what they're doing with those tax dollars is they do their little thing, and then they write books on how to dissemble America. The Little Blue Book. It's a playoff of the Little Red Book, Mao's Little Red Book, from a favorite political philosopher of Anita Dunn and others. Chairman Mao, you might remember Chairman Mao as the biggest mass murderer in world history. Some might think it would be a bad idea to, name your book Mein Kampf 2, the Electric Boogaloo, but progressives don't. The Little Red Book. Don't worry, Mao only killed 6 times as many people as Hitler, so it's a cute little reference that they've got going for them. Now, the average person might say, well, this stuff isn't important. It is. And I'm going to show you why this book is really important. It relates directly to changing the world. How to do it. It's a How to Change the World book. Specifically, step 1 and step 2 that we've been talking about. Step 1 is commit. Step 2 is activate. First, commit. Read their words. Understand their tactics. You will see how committed they are. They are very committed. You'll have no problem understanding how committed you have to be after you read their words. Leads directly into step 2, activate. These people are not screwing around. They have a plan, and they are currently executing it. You ever wonder how Obama has a approval rating in the 40s? I mean, that is amazing. It's because they're activated. They're working on the ground. They're working in the media, and they have a plan. And while you're going on with your life, and I'm going on with my life and our families, I have to tell you, last night I was supposed to do some work. I didn't do a lot of work last night because I spent time with my family. I'm concerned, just like you're concerned, about my children. I'm going to spend more time with my children. Meanwhile, they're writing little books on how to defeat you. The Little Blue Book. Now, how can you tell this is influential? Well, it's easy. I mean, you get quotes from the biggest muscle in the progressive movement, the founder of MoveOn.org, George Soros, who, by the way, says he has, quote, learned a lot from this author. I bet he has. Perhaps most interesting, the quote comes from none other than Van Jones. He writes that the author, George Lakoff, is the progressive movement's Jedi master of language. Now, this is really important. He says the Little Blue Book tells us how to say what we need to say to bring about policy changes Americans need. How to say what we need to say. Van Jones means every word of that. Listen to what he says here. The Little Blue Book tells us what we need to say to bring about the policy changes that Americans need. In other words, what do we say to these silly little Americans and try to convince them to take the medicine we know they need? Even though they're too stupid to realize it, what do we say to them? The first part of this quote is extraordinarily revealing. George Lakoff is, quote, the progressive movement's Jedi master of language. Now, I don't mean to get all Star Wars, but Van Jones just did. The Jedi Master. What do Jedis do? Well, they fight with lightsabers. They blow up the Death Star. They hit on princesses. But other than that, what do? How could he possibly mean that? The Jedi Master of language. What do Jedis have to do with language? They manipulate people's minds. That's exactly what they do. They manipulate what other people think and say for their own benefit. Because they're Jedis, they know better. Let me show you a Jedi Master at work.
Let me see your identification.
You don't need to see his identification.
We don't need to see his identification.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
He can go about his business.
You can go about your business.
Move along.
Move along.
Okay, got it? I mean, since we're rooting for the Jedis in this, we don't see a problem with it. We're like, oh, well, these aren't the droids they're looking for. Look at that. How cool is that? But what is the truth of that moment in that movie? The truth is, they were the droids they were looking for. It's a Jedi trick. Key word here, not Jedi, but trick. It is a mind trick. It's controlling the mind of another person to make them believe something that is true is not true. Or something that is not true is true. These aren't the droids I'm looking for. Yes, they are. Van Jones means what he wrote about this book. This guy is great at manipulating the message. He knows how to make people who would normally never agree with progressive policies vote for those progressive policies. So who is the author of this book? George Lakoff. He's an extraordinarily influential political progressive thinker. You know his handiwork from the Blaze story. But Lakoff is not, quoting, not just any intellectual celebrity. He is deemed one of the most important contemporary philosophers of progressive thought. You know how whenever Democrats lose an election, they invariably blame their poor messaging and never, ever the content of their policies? Lakoff is the one who came up with that. This ties into directly what we were talking about yesterday at this time on this program. How does the president continue to say things like Mitt Romney outsourced jobs to India when every major fact-check organization, including the Washington Post and the liberal organizations, even the left-wing media, has debunked it?